Good evening. I'm Peggy Scott Laborde, and welcome to Steppin Out, spotlighting the New Orleans area's arts and entertainment scene. Seated at our table tonight, Poppy Tooker, host of the WWNO radio program, Louisiana Eats.
Hey,
Hi.
Peg.
Hello there, dear. Ian McNulty is back with us, food writer for the New Orleans Advocate. Hi, Ian. Welcome back.
Hi, Peg.
Hello,
Glad to be
sir.
here.
And theater critic Alan Smason, editor of the Crescent City Jewish News, and of course, our theater critic. Yay! Hello, Mr. Alan. But of course, first, Poppy.
You know, every day there's something to celebrate. National Whiskey Day. Well, next week it's National Ceviche Week. Who would think?
Who would have known?
Well, the guys, those wonderful taste bud guys at Mezzato Cucina knew, and they've planned so many delicious things for next week. They're coming out with some new ceviche dishes that include a shrimp, tuna, yellowtail, and a salmon ceviche that is just beautiful. And I had the wonderful experience of having lunch yesterday with one of the three, Hans Limburg. And really, Mezzato is sort of his baby. That's his project he's been working on. And he taught me all about something I'd never heard of. I really didn't know what it was. Tiraditos, which it's like a ceviche, but it's presented sushi style. And apparently this is something that was created by Nico chefs in Peru. I didn't have any idea that there was a large Japanese population in Peru. And so this is where the inspiration came from. It's beautiful. It's beautiful and as delicious as it is beautiful. And it is the most perfect hot weather food. So everybody head on out. Oh, and delicious cocktails too. There's a new rum drink on their menu that is just perfect with all the ceviche dishes. And then they're doing something really interesting down at Kingfish, now all the way until October. They're celebrating Huey Long's, there's an exhibit at the Historic New Orleans Collection that is, like everything they do, it's just extraordinary. And so they're celebrating his life. It's the 1893 menu, and that's because that was the year of Huey's birth. And oh, by the way, it's 3 courses for $18.95.
Oh,
so yeah,
that's
really
a good
great
deal.
deal. So you get a farmhouse salad, then you have a choice of the Eunice Superette pulled pork sliders or the savory rotisserie chicken pot pie. You know, chicken in every pot, and and pecan bread pudding with whiskey sauce, of course, $18.93, and a portion of the proceeds will go to benefit the HNOC.
Oh, well,
another
that's nice.
opportunity to eat well and do good. Then talk about eat well. This next month, actually, during Tales of the Cocktail, at Tujague's, we're sort of doing an early celebration about that book that just might be coming out.
Who did that book?
I think I did that book, but anyway, with a lot of help from the spirits in the attic at Tujague's. Oh, and at the bar. But speaking of spirits, it's going to be a very spirited brunch. We're recreating Madame Begay's Butcher's Breakfast. It is an opulent meal. It's going to take place on Friday, July 17th and Saturday, July 18th. I'll be there to talk about my research, to tell some of the stories, and it's 5 courses for $50, okay? So we start off with Madame Begay's stuffed eggs, one of my favorite of her recipes, and then Tujague's shrimp remoulade, 2 ways, both red and white, then shrimp and grits, and of course, chicken bon femme, and Creole cream cheese and berries to finish. And when you arrive, you'll get a Sazerac, and throughout the entire brunch, they'll be pouring the award-winning whiskey punch, that new old drink that we recently brought back from the brink of extinction.
Poppy, you had me a chicken bon femme.
No, it's gonna be...
You know, that's the thing. You know, people hear, oh, Madame Begay, but that's what it was. She was known for her hearty breakfast because she was trying to satisfy the butchers who were working across the street.
Right across the street.
So
Lots of pictures of those guys in the new book coming.
Oh, good.
Lots of
fun.
pictures.
Okay,
Thanks,
great.
Peg.
Thank you so much. And now it's time, though, for our weekly Artist Spotlight. Tonight we are featuring 2 works in acrylic by renowned artist René Lalonde. First up right here is Blue Overflow. And then we also have one called Well-Coordinated Art Attack. A native of Montreal, Lalonde has over 60 solo exhibits worldwide. He will be in attendance at the opening reception of his exhibition, Kaleidoscope of Dreams. That's tomorrow evening at Martin Lawrence Gallery right there in Royal Street. Visit the gallery's website to see more of his works. And now time to go over to Ian and trying to keep cool in the long, hot summer. You've got some great suggestions.
Well, that's right. You know, Poppy mentioned the ceviches, the tiraditos, those cool dishes. Sometimes even when you go out to eat, you don't want to do you don't want to have cooking presented to you. Never mind cooking yourself. You don't even want to see hot food. Well, one anecdote that I've come up with over these hot summers is this niche of wine bars and often wine shops where you can get a plate of cheese or a meat plate, or even sometimes small plates, maybe a little more elaborate, but small, cool, refreshing, very easygoing. It's maybe the upscale version of going out for bar food. And we have a lot more options around the city. We're going to go through a few of them here, starting with some of the big guns, of course, Martin Wine Cellar. They've been doing this act for a long time out in Metairie, and now, of course, they're back on Baronne Street in the original Uptown area. A terrific place to get a cheese plate there, go through their wine list. On the opposite end of town, and maybe the opposite end of the style spectrum, Bacchanal, just an outdoor picnic of a wine and food experience here. Terrific place at the end of the Bywater there. But some others that are maybe a little less well known than Martin Wine Cellar and Bacchanal for the same sort of appeal. Two of them end up in Mid-City. One is Swirl, that's just off Esplanade. Terrific little place for a cheese plate, to go through their wine list. The Italian wine selection here is especially strong. And in the back there, if you can stand the heat, there's a nice little patio they've installed behind the store too, which is a nice place to check out. Just right nearby is Pearl Wine Company. Of course, this was the longtime home of Cork and Bottle.
Yes.
Changed over just 2 years ago to Pearl, and they keep on expanding the food options here. Salads, sandwiches, but still the meat plates and the cheese plates is what I go back to there, and it doubles as a wine bar too. Going downtown now to the Wine Institute of New Orleans.
Yeah.
Why now you see my model there helping me sample some of the wines.
Oh, yes,
they have the unique system here where you get many, many different wines still in the bottle, but you can get them by the glass. They dispense them by the ounce. You can really sample around. And again, cheese and meat plates there. That's a nice way to explore, have kind of an ad hoc night out. Down in on St. Claude Avenue in the 9th Ward, this is actually the St. Roch side, I believe, but Faubourg Wines, right there by the Press Street tracks. Easy to drive right past this place, but very pretty on the inside. Great wine selection by these small artisanal winemakers, and a little wine bar there. Always have a few selections, and sort of a build-your-own wine and cheese format. You select your own things from the fridge, they put it together for you, and there you go. You can dig in at the bar. Terrific. And then finally, this is a place that I love because it's a little bit off the beaten path for a lot of New Orleanians, although it's very close to the heart of people who live in Algiers. And this is Vine and Dine in Algiers Point. A terrific place. It doubles as a wine shop like a lot of these spots, but you can get a seat at the bar, check out the menu, right across the street from the ferry. So, on a hot summer night in New Orleans, there's nothing like taking that ferry across the river and exploring Algiers Point, stopping at Vine and Dine.
And they've been having those Wednesday concerts,
Oh,
so it's
yeah,
good to kind of combine that
another
too.
excellent chance to get out over there.
Yeah. People think, just generally, we're talking about theater and food, that summer things slow down, but they don't.
They assume a different pace, but I wouldn't call it slow.
I really wouldn't either. Thank you.
Sweatier, perhaps.
Sweatier, right. Now, during the summer, musical theater heats up uptown at Tulane. Summer Lyric, it debuts this weekend with the first of a trio of Broadway shows. We have a sneak peek for you from a dress rehearsal earlier this week. Since the late 1960s, Tulane Summer Lyric Theater has staged 3 full-length Broadway musicals every summer. And just how do they do it?
The Tulane Summer Lyric program is put on by the music department at Tulane University, not the theater department. First and foremost, it is a music show. And that's the emphasis that they've always had, is on the voice of the musicians and also the overall emphasis on what they're presenting. They want to have the best possible experience for the audience with voice.
We are a music department, and Summer Lyric is under the umbrella of the music department. But when we have auditions in February, it is in no way restricted to music majors, musicians per se. It's just an open audition. So we're never at a loss for singers who dance, singers who act, and who do the gamut.
We have a number of professionals who are playing roles. We have a number of community people and also a number of students.
This year's Summer Lyric is aiming for a home run with their latest production, Damn Yankees. Its storyline of an older man who sells his soul to become a young baseball star is jam-packed with catchy tunes.
I love this show. I love the Faustian thing. I love the redemptive nature of the show, how everything in musical theater just magically comes out right in the end, even though, you just sold your soul to the devil.
I like the character of Lola. I think she's very fun. She kind of does the devil's bidding. Heart is a great song. It is led by the coach, and the coach tells them that baseball is one part skill and the other part is something else.
Something bigger. You've gotta have heart. All you really need is heart. When the odds are saying you'll never win, that's when the grin should start.
It's such a heartwarming thing, and it's kind of a metaphor for life, not just baseball, but if you do whatever you set out to do with a little bit of heart, you can't go too far amiss.
When your luck is batting zero, get your chin up off the floor.
From the first rehearsal to the last performance, only 3 weeks go by. It's kind of a sped up process. I think Tulane Summer Lyric has been a staple in New Orleans theater for a long time. I think people come to see their shows because they're so full of energy. They are put on with a lot of love and a lot of heart because it's pretty fast, and so we all love what we're doing here. And just when you think things are going tough, you always have to look and say, wow, I'm getting to do what it is I want. So we feel really lucky.
Kudos to producers Larry Roussarie and Kelsi Schreiber for our feature. Damn Yankees runs through this weekend, Saturday at 8 p.m. and Sunday at 2 p.m. at Dixon Hall on Tulane's campus. Call 865-5269 or visit the website that you see for tickets. And next up is Once Upon a Mattress and Hello Dolly. And you were just saying that Bob Eads, who plays the manager in this.
Plays Van Buren. He's going to be playing Horace Van
Gelder. Wonderful. So you got sneak all this good information right now. And New Orleans Magazine's quiz queen, Julia Street, has a question for us. Last time, Steve Grant named the minor league hockey team that played in New Orleans from 1997 to 2002, and he told us where the team played home games before moving to the arena. They were the New Orleans Brass, and they played at the Morris FX Jeff Municipal Auditorium before the arena opened. Now, tonight's question. In which parish is Grand Isle? Through what parish does a person have to drive to get there? Okay, email your answers to steppinout@wyes.org. Our prizes: a year's subscription to Louisiana Life magazine, a gift certificate for two courtesy of Vianne's Tea House in Old Mandeville, offering their culinary and gourmet tea experience. And tonight we have an oven mitt with the message "Silence of the Yams." Woo! And a kitchen towel that reads, recommended golfer's diet, plenty of greens, avoid water, from our friends at wearablevegetables.com. And you can visit WYES.org for our online calendar to see our lineup of events. You can also link to our WYES YouTube channel to view our program on our homepage. Now to Mr. Allen.
Well, all I can say is play ball. If the first musical under interim artistic director C. Leonard Raybon is any indication for what Tulane Summer Lyric audiences are in store for, hold on to your baseball caps and cheer for the home team, because this is a real crowd pleaser and a really, really fine production directed and choreographed by the divine Diane Lala. Of course, as Peggy had mentioned in the earlier production we just had from Kelsi and Larry that they'd done just a moment ago, the story concerns the devil who is under the guise of Mr. Applegate. He's well played by Nigel Columbus. He confronts, of course, a fellow by the name of Joe Boyd, played by Chris Shaw, for a short bit in the front. He offers him a chance to perform at the world's greatest arena, if you will, to have a chance to beat the Yankees and get the pennant for the Washington Senators. He's magically transformed into Joe Hardy, the role played to a batting tee by newcomer Ben Biggins. He's sorely needed by the manager there, Van Buren, played by Bob Eads Jr. Great to see him on stage again, and the team that really needs Joe's skills at the bat and in the field. But of course, along the way, Applegate throws in a delightful distraction in the form of Lola, played to absolute perfection by Julie Tolliver. You remember, she was nominated a few years ago as Reno Sweeney in Anything Goes. Great singing, great dancing, fantastic, especially in the number Who's Got the Pain that she does. Whatever Lola Wants, a little brains, a little talent.
So she's played on Broadway.
Oh, yes, she has. And she's really, really a great steal for them to have this summer. Again, tremendous talent there. The music by Richard Adler and Jerry Ross is just so very good. You really want it to go into extra innings, if you know what I mean. But again, I really recommend it. Tulane Summer Lyric presents Damn Yankees. It's going to be playing again only 1 week. So I'll only have a few days to see it. Catch it if you can. You'll regret if you don't. And today was also a day that many people have been looking forward to, because the Jefferson Performing Arts Center is finally dedicated. Here's a shot of the outside of the facility if you want to take a look. Again, it's a beautiful state-of-the-art center. It's going to be a real jewel for Jefferson Parish. President John Young, seen here, along with Dennis Assaf from the Jefferson Performing Arts Society, are going to be together on the scene for the gala tomorrow night. Now, again, Dennis is going to take up the baton. The first half, he's going to be leading several ballet companies and doing some other things as well. And then for the second half, Branford Marcellus and Joe Catarazzo are going to be performing a jazz ensemble. And again, tickets are only $75 and $100. It goes to a different website, not JPAS, but Jefferson Parish's own site, which is jeffersonpac.com, or JEFFERSONPAC.com. Go there for tickets. Again, it should be a wonderful event. Again, so very much needed in Jefferson Parish, that Performing Arts Center that Dennis had been hounding for.
And Dennis is planning on doing, is it My Fair Lady?
Well,
coming up?
and they're going to have auditions for My Fair Lady, their very first production. Lerner and Lowe's My Fair Lady will be held next month in July. It's going to be on July the 10th through the 12th. And keep that in mind as well. I want to remind everybody that if you're interested in performing, you should get to that audition. Meanwhile, 2 productions have been extended who have been doing very, very well. Southern Rep's production of Lisa D'Amour's Detroit has been extended until the 27th, which will be another week to go, at the Ashe Powerhouse Theater. And Anthony Bean Community Theater is extending their ambitious musical, The Color Purple. They have some really impressive performances in it. Again, it's only going to be on for the remainder of this weekend for Father's Day. If you miss it, it's gone. The Color Purple, again, at Anthony Bean Community Theater on Carrollton, 862 PLA. Why? That's the phone number. I love that. Now, also a very popular program for those who would be theater stars, the Patchwork Players. They started up, of course, at Tulane University under the helm of Buzzy Podwell, and now continued at the Rivertown Theaters for the Performing Arts with Jessica Podwell, Buzz's daughter, and, of course, Gary Rucker. So I want to remind you that they're going to be doing Cinderella. This weekend it ends. They're going to have performances Saturday and Sunday at 11 on Saturday and at 2 on Sunday. Keep that in mind as well. Final productions this weekend. And I did want to get out a notice, too, that the citywide auditions, this is the opportunity for both equity and non-equity players to do an audition and get your name, your pictures noticed, etc., so that people who are interested in casting future productions will have you on their list, if you will, or in their minds. So first and foremost, those who are equity members are going to go first between 10 and 11 o'clock, and then alphabetically between 11 and 1, anyone whose last names begin with A through M will be seen and heard, and then people from N through Z will be seen and heard from 1 to 3. Remember, you're supposed to come with 20 copies of your resume with pictures attached. So that's something else to keep in mind too. Very important. So pretty much that's about it for right now.
Absolutely. But Alan, I saw Detroit last week.
Oh, good.
And well, first of all, if folks haven't been to the Ashe Powerhouse Theater for a play, they've got to go do that. But we're talking very powerful stuff, and we should be very proud because Lisa D'Amour lives in New Orleans.
Yes, and her husband, of course, is involved as the music, I'd say composer for the most part, even down to the cricket sounds. He made those himself, and of course, he's also the sound engineer. So, and of course, working hand in hand with Mike Harkins, who is well known around town as a sound designer himself, but Mike is, of course, playing an actor this time around.
And of course, with also Airline Highway on Broadway, wouldn't it be nice to have Airline Highway in New Orleans at some point?
Well, I think eventually it will be down here, but you know, it took 5 years for Detroit to come to New Orleans. So
really?
we'll see how long it takes. You know, they're going to have probably a couple of rolling regional premieres. I'm hoping that we'll be on the National New Play Network for that, but we'll see. A lot of times it's only new plays that they do, so we'll have to see what exactly happens since it's already been on Broadway.
And you were right about the set, too.
Oh, yeah.
The grass. Lots of surprises there. The other thing about the new theater is you can park right next door, which is really neat. I don't think there are too many theaters where you can do that.
No,
in New
and
Orleans.
you actually,
So
they have a
maybe
guard.
Mid-City,
They have a guard there, you know, to watch you getting in and getting out.
But last week we did the Perlu, restaurant right in SoFab, prefixed theater dinner for the theater, and got out in time, and then went right over to the. So it was a very nice setup.
Yes.
Looking forward to
All right.
more plays. Okay. And now, though, our picks. Yes. All right, Poppy.
My pick is next weekend, next Saturday, SoFab reinvents soul food with Chef Jeff Henderson of Flip My Food, Gason Nelson, and Camille Hemphill. You have to pay for this in advance, or $30 at the door, $25 in advance. Saturday afternoon, 1 to 4.
All right, Ian.
Something else to put on your calendar, food lovers, is the return of The Artful Palate. This is an annual summer series they do at Cafe Noma, the Ralph Brennan restaurant in the New Orleans Museum of Art. It's free chef-led cooking demos led by chefs from Ralph Brennan's restaurants with guests from, in this case, different farmers that they work with, other chefs from around the city. Kevin Belton, up-and-coming WYES cooking show star. That starts next Friday, June 26th, continues every other Friday through mid-September, that long summer. It's free. Just a pro tip, get there early. It starts at 6:30, but people start getting there up to an hour early to get a good spot, and Cafe Noma serves drinks and food as well.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Alan.
Well, you know, I did the Shrine Circus publicity for so many years, I probably have sawdust in my blood. But I want to remind everybody that Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus is in town. Legends is the name of this year's offing, and again, they're going to be presenting it on Saturday and Sunday at the Smoothie King Center. And also a reminder at the Sanger, also this weekend, Julianne and Derek Hoff's Move On live tour is going to be at the Sanger, and again, they have 2 shows at 3 p.m. and 7 p.m.
I'm so used to saying the New Orleans Arena. I'm trying to get used to saying the Smoothie King. The Smoothie King Arena, Smoothie King. All right. Thank you. Yes, remember the Shrine Circus at the auditorium?
I still remember the smells, too.
Yeah. I remember going to visit the elephants in the basement as well.
Not just peanuts and popcorn.
Not just peanuts. No, not just peanuts and popcorn.
And scary clowns.
Right. Yeah, right. Yeah, it was fun, though. And I was an adult. Before we go to my picks, I would like to share these photos with you. Broadway star Michael Cerveris and New Orleans resident brought home his Tony Award last weekend because he's busy as of Broadway. He's sharing this, though, with the city and friends. The Tony paid a visit to Cerveris' friend, musician Paul Sanchez. And Michael Cerveris visited his longtime pal, Steve Gleason. He was also congratulated by Mayor Mitch Landrieu, who in earlier days used to be in musicals himself at Jesuit High. Congratulations again, Michael. We look forward to having you on our station soon. And a reminder that the Rhino Craft Gallery, that's in Canal Place, celebrates the summer solstice sale this weekend. with a store-wide 20% off sale, and they are on the second floor, as we said, in Canal Place. And the Voodoo holiday, St. John's Eve, will be celebrated Tuesday night on Bayou St. John with chanting and public head washing led by Voodoo priestess Sally Ann Glassman. It's right across from Cabrini, and it will take place at 7 p.m. on Magnolia Bridge, right across from the school. That's at 1400 Moss Street. Wear white, and if you want to, you can bring blue or white candles or a few flowers for the altar. I've been going for the last few years. It's very interesting. And looking ahead, next Friday is the Everybody Loves Barbie Pink Carpet Gala, and that's to benefit 4 nonprofits that work very hard to prevent child abuse. It will take place at the Crown Plaza near the airport on Williams Boulevard in Kenner, and the event, along with other weekend activities, is being coordinated by Havilah Malone. Look at Havilah. She's auctioning off her Barbie collection. These are all, it's still in their containers, in their packages, with many other donations from local businesses. Visit everybodylovesbarbie.com to learn more about the organization. And she is so together and focused on this, and she's been working very hard, so do support it. And we want to say happy Father's Day. And now we close with the tune A Little Brains, A Little Talent, sung by Julie Tolliver from Tulane Summer Lyrics' Damn Yankees. Good night.
There isn't a home writer on my staff better than you, Lola. But this fellow's stubborn.
Oh, come on, Chief. You know I got what it takes.